Hey everybody, thanks for joining our workshop today for conditional formatting. So we got a few folks on. I know you guys have been on here before. I think we'll just go ahead and get started. I think, yeah, as folks join on, they'll be able to catch up pretty quick. So I'm not sharing my screen yet, so if you're not seeing anything, don't be alarmed. But just wanted to go over a couple things. So my name is James Restivo from Crow Canyon Software. Uh, and as usual, if you have any questions during this workshop, there is a questions section in the GoToMeeting or GoToWebinar panel that you have on your screen. Feel free to chime in with a question at any time. We're happy to jump in. We also have Scott Restivo on the call who will help to answer any questions you guys have, and we'll take a look at those at the end of the workshop as well. Um, so we'll just go ahead and get started. Let me go ahead and share my screen, and that way we can take a look at this conditional formatting and what it can do for you. Now, what it does at the core of it, what it's going to be doing is allowing you to add some features and functionality to your out-of-the-box list views and Crow Canyon list views to highlight fields, highlight rows, show icons, and also you can show progress bars. If I just scroll over to the right here, you'll see that we have a progress bar on this list view as well. So I'm kind of hitting them all on this one view. So we'll use this as our one kind of one-stop shop to take a look at these features and show you what the conditional formatting can do. Now, if anyone can't see my screen, feel free to raise your hand just so I know that that's the case, and I'll reshare. But I think you should all be seeing it at this point. So to get to the conditional formatting settings, there's a couple different ways to do that. So you can go through the NITRO Studio apps page, which gets you to pretty much everything we have in NITRO Studio: forms, workflows, reports, but also custom actions, conditional formatting being one of them, and a bunch of other things as well. So you can go there, you can do that. You can also go through the list settings page. So if I click on our list settings here on the view, you'll see that pops up the list settings page, and you'll see in the general settings section, there is the Crow Canyon conditional formatting. So that's going to bring you to this page here, which is going to show you the conditional formatting for this particular list. So then this is where you set up your criteria for when to show the column colors, when to show the icons, when to show the KPI indicators and progress bars and things like that. So first things I'm going to show you the colors, how to add those. So that's what the first two here are. So just to kind of orient ourselves a little bit, what perspective I'm coming from is that you are managing a project, you have project tasks, you want to track when those are due, when those are completed, which ones are in danger of becoming overdue. You can see there's options for that, and I'll show you what the criteria is. So right here, I've got a red color, which is highlighting which project tasks are overdue. So this is highlighting this is past the due date. We're past 5/15. That was last week. It's not completed yet. You can see that the task status is still in progress. And you can see that there's a percentage completion here of not being complete. So it's overdue. But then also we're highlighting this yellow one here to indicate that this task is in danger of becoming overdue. Because now you have a project task that is past the start date, or 2 days past the start date, and no work has been done yet, and it's got the health is not great for that particular task. So we want to highlight those things as well. So I'll dig into those first. And you can see there's the, I'll point out the red one first, the overdue, being overdue. This is a really straightforward conditional thing. And you can see in our conditional formatting settings, you have these conditional options you can put in here. So you can put any conditions you want to make it, show what you want it to show in the list view. In this particular case, what we've chosen is due date as being less than today, which means it's not done yet. Or not done by the due date, and you can see that we're also marking the task when the task is not completed. We want to say task status not equal to completed, so that means any task that's either in progress or not started past the due date is going to get this red color. And then we have options here to show the color any way we want. We have the full scope of hexadecimal colors that we can choose from. So I chose a red color that looked a little, kind of highlighted it and didn't contrast too much with some of the other colors that were there. But yeah, so there's that. And then you also have the option here to apply that color to the whole row. So it highlights it as you're seeing over here on this screen. Or I could change that to applying just to a particular column. So if I do that, let me save that setting. And then I'm going to come back over here and show you that when I refresh this page, it's going to apply it to just the due date column. And that, how it chooses which column to highlight, you're choosing that setting in here as well. So that setting is going to be handled by the select column option down here. So if you're applying it to just a specific column, you want to select that column here in this option down below. Or you could just have it simply apply to the whole row, and it doesn't matter. One important thing to note as we go through all this, in order for the conditional formatting to apply to your view, you want to make sure that the, both the columns selected here and the columns you've used in your conditions are going to be on that view. Otherwise, it gets a little hung up and it won't work. So just make sure when you're doing the view and doing your conditions that when you're setting up your view, you include all of these columns that you're specifying in the conditions and in the setting down here. So I just want to make that point. So then on the in danger of being overdue, we've just added a couple, a different set of conditions there for how we apply it to the thing. To the list view, you can see that we're still saying task status is not started, or it equals not started. Its start date is less than today, and due date is greater than equal to today. Because of course, if we're past the due date, it's overdue. So we want to make sure we have that setting in there to say that it's between the start date and the due date, and it's not started. This is a problem. This could potentially impact the health of the project. This could potentially impact our ability to get the work done. So we want to highlight that fact. And you can see there's, again, color options down here. I chose a yellow color, kind of more of a warning type of color. And then again, I'm applying it to the whole row. And again, I'm making sure that I have the task status, start date, and due date all within that view to make sure that this is going to work as expected. All right, so that's about the long and short of it, of the color piece of it. You can use any set of conditions and apply it as needed. Now, the next section, next thing I want to talk about here, and I'll go back over here, are these icons. So you can add icons in for any of these statuses, for any of the criteria. This could be used as another way to show metrics for KPIs. So you tie that to a specific value or to a number, some kind of metric that's going to be on your project task to visually show that there's some, what the KPI is, what the key performance indicator is. So that we're handling just through simple icon. And in this case, I just simply did it for the task status equaling completed. I could go back in here and do it for the in progress status, and I could also do it for the not started status if I wanted to. And you can see there's a bunch of different icons you can choose from. You can upload your own icons if you want to. So we do have that option available if you have your own KPIs. The column value I chose as hide, and you'll see over here on our list view, it doesn't say completed, it just has the green checkbox. I could change that and show completed there too. It'll just show the green checkbox just a little bit off to the left. I can actually make that change right now. You can see it's you could put it to the right or to the left. I'm going to put it to the left. Let me save that and come back in here. You're going to see this row is going to change again because I changed that setting back to full row. And for some reason it didn't change. Sometimes it takes a couple refreshes, but you'll see that it the value appears now to the left of the icon that we've indicated. So you can choose to show it, hide it, or have it appear one to the left or the right of that icon. So that's all possible with the icon option. I like just the green checkbox myself, so I'm going to change it back. All right. And then the final thing here is the progress bar. So I'm going to go back to my view. If I scroll over to the right, you'll see these progress bars. So we're keying off some number value in the task. That could be number of hours used. In this case, we're doing a calculation. This is actually a calculated column, so you can use this progress bar on calculated column, so that will work. So what we're doing is we're calculating how many hours are left for the project. So you can't see it here, but this is projected hours for the task. You see it says projected hours. We also have over here hours used. So we're tracking how many hours have actually been used or spent on that task. And then you can see a delta of how many are pending. So you can see pending hours is the metric here. All we're doing to get this task progress is taking a simple calculation of the hours used, dividing it by the projected hours. So that gives us, what that does, it gives us a percentage of how many hours have been spent. So obviously if 100 hours have been, or 100% of the hours have been spent, you get the full bar. Somewhere in between, you get that bar that's kind of halfway. And then no hours spent, you get a blank, gray bar. So it kind of gives you a sense of, another sense of where you are in the project status and where you are in those task statuses. And setting it up again is really straightforward. Come in here, set your conditions. This one doesn't have any conditions, we don't need any. So we're just doing a progress bar. We're putting it on this task progress column. And then you have your min and max value, which typically, if you're doing percentages, is just going to be 0 to 100. But you could have other, scales if you want. You can have a different min value, different max value, based on what type of number you're looking at, what type of project or type of metric you're trying to show as a progress bar. So it's really straightforward, really simple thing to set up. Just hit progress bar here. So select your value column, which again, this is a calculated column, and then what your values are. So yeah, and then the other thing I want to point out here, just to, you might have conditions that are conflicting or have, or one task might meet multiple conditions. In that case, what you want to do is look at your priority. So there's a change priority option here, where if you come over here to change the priority, you can actually say, okay, look, these, because they're fairly closely related, you might want to have the one take precedence over the other. We can move that up. Now it's going to check that first of one of these tasks meets the criteria for being overdue, but also meets the criteria for being in danger of overdue. Then this due date setting will take precedence and highlight the row as red versus yellow. So if you have those kinds of things, they have multiple metrics, multiple things going on, and one task potentially, or one item could potentially be have different the conditions could match for multiple settings, and you'd want to make sure you change the priority accordingly to have one or the other take precedence. Yeah, I mean that's about it. Pretty short, quick little workshop today to kind of go over what the options are possible there. Certainly happy to field any questions at this point if you have anything that you want to see, or any questions that you have about how this might get applied, or how you might use this. Outside, I use this project status, project task kind of scenario. If you have other scenarios you want to look at, we can dig into those as well. But I think that's pretty much covers what I wanted to cover today. So I'm not seeing any questions popping into the question box, so I think that's a good sign. You guys, understood what I was talking about, so that's great. So while I got you, I want to talk about a couple upcoming things we have happening at Crow Canyon for upcoming workshops and upcoming webinars. So we have on our webinars page on our website, we have the this Microsoft Teams and Crow Canyon Business Applications. We've done a lot of work to bring our capabilities into the Teams interface. I know with all the remote work from home kind of scenarios, there's a lot more adoption of Teams. It's exponential rise in the use. It's off the charts, really, rise in use of Teams. So we've invested heavily in creating those kinds of collaborative connections between Teams and our applications. So you can do a lot of stuff from within Teams related to our Crow Canyon applications. So tomorrow, Scott's going to be talking about that on the webinar, same time, 11 a.m. Pacific. So feel free to join that if you haven't already signed up for it. I'd encourage you to do that. And then the couple other ones we have coming up, we got government. If you're working in the government, we have a government webinar focused on that coming up on May 28th. That'll be next week. And a little further out in the future, a couple weeks from now, we're going to have another webinar about applications. And then for the workshop series, we're going to be looking at in June 10th, so just about 3 weeks from now, or really a couple weeks, 3 weeks. We're going to be looking at building out dashboards. So kind of tied into what we talked about today with building these KPIs and progress bars and colors on your list view. We're going to take, you can use that concept and actually build out a full-fledged dashboard using tiles and dials, using our reporting tool. We have a lot of that in our out-of-the-box applications, but we also want to show you how you can build those things using the tools in NITRO Studio to give you a real full-fledged kind of project interface, either enhancing a product we have, like our project management tool, or if you're developing your own custom application using NITRO, it gives you a way to show dashboards within that. So again, if you have any questions on any of this, feel free to pop them into the question box. It looks like it's we're pretty good to go there. And Scott, did you have anything you wanted to add onto this webinar today, workshop?
No, not really, except that the KPI and the conditional formatting is a very, very useful tool. It's a short workshop, but actually the functionality of the KPIs, the progress bars, the highlighting of different messages is very, very useful. People will find that, hopefully find good use for that to highlight overdue or upcoming or progress. I mean, just really, really useful capabilities of the NITRO Studio there. And so that's good. And I look forward to talking to people. There's a webinar about this time tomorrow on the Teams integration. So it'll be great to show the Teams integration, the bots, the what we've done with NITRO Studio to make Teams integration. So looking forward to that webinar tomorrow also.
And very good. I forgot to mention at the beginning, but with all of our workshops and webinars, we're going to be putting them up on our website. So if you want to review the content at a later date, it's going to be there for you to review. And also you can feel free to browse the webinars and workshops we've already completed. We've done a number of them. We've been doing this for the workshops for about nine months now. So I think about 9 or 10 of them we have on file. And then the webinars we've been doing for a long time. So there's a whole bunch of data out there, a bunch of things you can watch. So get tired of Netflix and you get tired of streaming on Amazon, go ahead and pop over to our website and take a look at some of the stuff we have. But all right, I want to thank everyone for coming today and appreciate your time. And I'll let you have the rest of this hour back. And we'll be talking to you soon. All right, take care, everybody.